All right. Yeah, let's go over ASL groups. Okay. Time for ASL groups. By the way, just a quick talking point. They've renamed ASL into Soup StarCraft League. Now, this is going to be the third professional StarCraft League that is called SSL. Is this the greatest marketing move that Afrika TV has ever made? I would go with absolutely not. But it is what it is. This is still ASL. I honestly can't even get inside the minds of people who rebrand something that popular. But it's SSL now, I guess. Okay, so we have the new season starting, and this is going to be basically ASL Season 18. Let's go ahead and take a look at the groups. So first up, Group A, we have Queen1127, who I don't have any idea who this guy is. Rain and Barracks. Okay, first thoughts on this are, well, it's best of one, right? So it's like this makes it hard to predict, right? Like Barracks can definitely beat Rain in a best of one. This guy could 8 racks, double 8 racks against 0, and we know that he can lose to that as he wasn't in ASL last season because of that. I mean, obviously, I would say that Rain and 0 are the best players in the group. 0 is Queen, by the way. Wikipedia just, I don't know, doesn't update things. But yeah, that would be my main guess. But there could be like a lot of upsets in this group. Like, you never know. Best of one, you bring some sharp best of one builds, even in your first tournament, you might do okay. Realistically, though, if it's your first time in ASL, you generally get slammed. So not feeling very good about him. Group B, we got Mini Scan Bisu Sock. Oh my God. So far out of the two groups, this is the group of death, but I haven't looked at all of them yet. And I have no peripheral vision, as you guys definitely know from how much I get harassed in StarCraft. So this is a really, 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 really hard group. Mini first for Scan is a tough match. Obviously, Mini is probably overall the most consistent Protoss in ASL. Probably along with Best, I guess. So that's going to be hard. Bisu is in very good shape. He's been in very good shape for a bit. Sock is always very strong, and I think Sock's style is actually okay for this group as well. This is like anything can happen in this group. It's very easy to just say Mini Bisu, but I don't think it's that easy because best of ones, and if Scan and Sock bring some good builds, anything really can happen here. Okay, looking at Group C, we have Rush, Motive, Royal, Saxry. Holy shit, that's a good group too. Oh my God. Okay, so, I mean, Rush is the most consistent Terran in ASL for sure. Royal obviously has won a championship. Motive is the #1 Protoss that deserved to make it in this season. Motive has been in such good shape, top of the ladder, won CNSL. And in fact, he won it over Scan. So the top 2 CNSL players making it in this season. By the way, CNSL is coming back. And I'll be casting that very soon on my YouTube channel. So make sure you check that out. Saxry is incredibly underrated. Incredibly underrated. God, that's a fucking crazy group. So I would lean towards Rush and Royal. But really, best of ones, man. Anything can happen. Upsets definitely could be made. All right, looking at Group D, we have Best Speed Action C. That's a fun group. Best in action to come out of it, but that is a fun group. Like, C is in pretty good shape. I actually saw some of his games today. He is in good shape. Obviously, made in ASL, so he has to be. Although he does generally get kind of like easier groups. Speed is in very good shape, but is a very volatile. He's probably the most volatile of all the top Terran players. He's just so aggro. So, like, there could be upsets there. But, yeah, I would go with Best in Action. Best in Action are both, like, always round of 8, so it would be hard to see either of them going out. Group E, we have Light Hero, this is YSC, for those of you who maybe forget about that. Shine and Jadong. Oh, man. That's actually a pretty good group. So, Light will come out of here almost no matter what. YSC, I don't give much of a shot at all. I honestly think it'll probably be Light and Shine, but Jadong definitely can beat Shine, definitely can beat Hero. The thing is, Shine can also beat Light, and I don't think Jadon can beat Light realistically. Like, obviously, anything can happen in a best of one again, but, like, Light is so solid that you really need mind games, and Shine has those in spades. So my guess is Light, Shine. I would love to see Jadon get through. This is going to be a heartbreaker, because you really want these three all going through. Like, Shine is one of the most entertaining players in the entire world, and then it's Jadon, obviously, in Light, and it's like, well, you really want them through. All right, so then we have JYJ, Free, Mind, Stork. That's a very fun group. That is a very fun group. So JYJ and Mind, I would put 100% coming out of here. Like, Free and Stork are both pretty good, and they have PVT on their side. But they're just not the same level as JYJ and Mind, right? These guys played in the finals a few seasons ago. Yeah. Yeah, because JYJ and Mind are also both very, very solid in Terran versus Protoss. So definitely favoring them two to get out. Of course, we have the 4 players that are seeded: Sulky, Hero, Sharp, and Snow. That is a sick lineup of players that these guys will be playing into. As far as my overall prediction for the season, I'm predicting Sulky to win his 3rd in a row. Sulky is really just another level. Like, if Flash doesn't return to the pro scene, like if he's just kind of like a streamer, Sulky could actually hit Bonjour status, which we haven't really had anyone other than Flash that's done anything quite like that. Remember, Queen won 2 in a row. Sulky's already won 2 in a row, but he actually looks much better than Queen did when Queen won 2 in a row. So this is getting kind of scary. Obviously, the other players that you would predict to do well would be Hero, Snow, Mini, Rain, Rush. Right? Those are like, the winner is coming out of those players, almost certainly. As far as underdog getting really far, I don't really see someone in here that I'm like, oh yeah, this guy might just go fucking Super Saiyan and go far. Brood War's too hard for that. No Dark Horse. 0 Dark Horse. Okay, so those are the players. And let's see, are the maps on here? Those are the groups, rather, with those players. Okay. It's time to look at the maps. Minstrel. Okay, so Minstrel is a 2-player map. I've seen some games on these maps, by the way. So let's just go over them lightly here. So spawn 1, spawn 2. Okay, as you can see, you kind of come down your ramp into a regular natural. Here, we'll look at the top left. Top left's a little bit easier to look at. So you come down into your natural. Then you have this kind of forward position. You see some buildable terrain there. So this is a possible base right there. But you have the minerals to the back to nowhere, right? So anything could harass that. You have this kind of pocketed base up at 12 o'clock. It's kind of a funny thing how you can go up this ramp, then down this ramp to attack that. And then you have like this base down here. So most of the games I've seen here, I feel like have been Terran versus Protoss so far, where Protoss kind of runs around. There's like a lot of different paths to go down. It's an interesting map. I kind of like the setup overall. Obviously, it's a 2-player map, so that brings its own issues. But if you look at the setup of the main and the natural on this map, it's actually like pretty well defendable. A lot of these 2-player maps we've had more recently are set up in such a way that Zerg dominates against Terran, for instance. Obviously, Protoss is always going to be very good on a 2-player map. But a lot of them, if you look at like how mineral patches are set up, for instance, their back won't be against a wall, right? And when your mineral patches at your natural are not against a wall, it's really hard to defend them against mutas. So I do like the setup of that overall. Pretty solid as far as a new 2-player map goes, I'd say. All right, Monty Hall returns. Monty Hall, of course. This is a very old map from like 2006, I want to say. You start in a main base. There's mineral patches that block on both sides on this 2-player map, right? The center has a bunch of bases in it, and there's some island bases as well. But basically, it's like, okay, do you pop like a worker over? Do you try to mine out minerals and attack quickly? There's a lot of cheeses on this map. A lot of hardcore cheeses. You're going to see a lot of 1-base Terran play here. And yeah, you're going to see things like carrier rushes and you know, just regular Mutalisk play. Like Zerg can just kind of mine out and play Mutas here, and it's really strong. But yeah, for Terran, it's going to be mostly one base. Monty Hall is kind of a garbage heap of a map, but if you're going to put in a map that's like really weird, which ASL always does, I think it's an okay choice to bring back. Oops. All right, now we have Dominator. So this is a remake of Gladiator. Okay, so this probably looks a lot like Gladiator to people, right? It's got those kind of pizza slices. Let me show you how it's different, right? So it is basically Gladiator. Like, let's look at the top left here. Gladiator main, up a ramp, Gladiator natural, Gladiator triangle, Gladiator mineral base, right? And then here's what's different. You have 2 ramps going to these other gas bases, right? So it's a 4-player map. Same positions for the first 3 bases everywhere. And for the 4th base, but the 4th base has double ramp now, right? A wide ramp here and a smaller ramp here. And then you also have these new bases on the side, okay? So you've got like this set of 4, which is what it always was, but now a new ramp here. And then you have this, which kind of reminds me of some of the old Medusa bases. Yeah, so that's kind of crazy. There's a lot of bases on this map. Oh, this is actually a 3-player map now. My bad. Okay, that makes more sense because I'm like, what the fuck? Is this going to be a 15 expansion map? So yeah, they turned it into, there used to be a main down here. So to add this extra base, they actually removed a main base in the bottom right. Right, so now it's a 3-player map, but this is kind of a Gladiator reborn as a 3-player map. And yeah, looks interesting. Looks better than Gladiator was. The one thing you can be guaranteed of is that PvP here will be a waste of all of our times. PvP is a complete rock, paper, scissors on this type of map where you have a low ground main. Because it just goes 3-gate Goon beats Observer beats DT. But 3-gate Goon is the strongest out of those. Which makes DT strong, right? So PvPs are going to be rough there. All right, we have Deja Vu. Okay, this map I really haven't seen. Like I saw it like maybe a couple games, but not enough to have a big opinion on it. So you can see it's a 4-player map in the corners there. You go down your ramp to a natural. You come out to this kind of middle-ish area. Then you have this expansion as your 3rd. Yeah, like this looks pretty tough. Right, so the main natural is fine. The mineral patches are kind of against the wall there, which is going to make it a little bit hard against like Mutalisks and whatnot. And then you got to kind of defend this area to be able to push over the ramp to get the 3rd. The center does have this kind of interesting low ground area, which has looks like 8 mineral patches in the center, similar to Retro in a way. But yeah, this is like a 12 base map, a 12 base 4-player map. So to put that in perspective, think of it similar to Retro, but it's a little bit more open. It's a bit more open, a bit quicker flow to everywhere than Retro. It actually, to me, it looks better than Retro. Just kind of looking at it. I'm interested to see that map more. All right, we have Kickback. Oops. That's not what we wanted. Tab. All right, Kickback. This reminds me of Neo Forte, for anyone who remembers that map. It kind of has a similar feel, but it's not really. You have this main base. Actually, it's kind of like, it looks like Neo Forte, but it's more like Coliseum. Kind of. Okay? So you have your main base, and then and it's a 4-player map, by the way, the corners. So you have the main base, and then you have up here 2 expansions with gases. Okay, and you have this kind of choke right here. One thing to show, people are going to be weirded out by this. There's a sunken colony right there. So the reason why the sunken colony is right here on all of it is the creep will grab the sunken, and the sunken shoots out creep if there's a hatchery nearby. Okay, this is just like a bug that they figured out with the map editor. So that allows you to get sunkens up without putting a hatchery here. That was one of the problems with maps like Neo Forte back when they were made, is that you needed a hatchery at the front to make your defense, and that makes the map bad for Zerg. Here, you can just make the defense if you want it. If you want sunkens, you can make them. Bam. So you can go hatchery first and not worry about rushes. So good map design there. As far as the center, you have one of these like mega bases with double gas. Not sure how much we'll see that taken. 12, 3, 6, and 9 all have these funny looking bases. And it has like a lot of unwalkable terrain that flanks those. So flying units can come in. Of course, when you see bases like this, like one Psystorm clears all the patches. So just keep that in mind. That's going to be very strong for those bases. Yeah, it looks like an interesting map. I like the layout. It's a very, very, very easy 3-gas map. So what that's going to do is it's going to make Zerg have like a very easy time having 3 gases against Terran. There's not really a counterplay to that. So you might see Terrans cheesy on this map a little bit against Zerg. And it's going to have Protoss getting 3 easy gases against Zerg, which is going to be a little bit of a nightmare for Zerg. Not really sure how Zerg is going to be able to deal with that. But that is going to be the easiest 3-gas map that we might have ever seen for PvZ. Right, we have Pantheon. And a 4-player map here once again. I actually don't know this one. So let's take a look. We'll look at top left again. So you get your main, you come down into your natural. And your third base is up here. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, these tiles are unbuildable. These tiles are unbuildable. Right? So this area is unbuildable. Right up into here. So you have buildable terrain here, buildable terrain here. There could be a spot in here for a missile turret, but I don't see it. That's pretty wide open trying to get to your third. And the third is a mineral only. Normally when you have a mineral only base as your third, the mineral only is very easy to take. This is much further away. So, oh, you know what? They must be planning this as the third. My bad. This has to be a 4th base. Because I'm like, that doesn't look right. That is so incredibly hard to take. It's like the location that you would think it would be in. Wow, this terrain looks weird. Is that a double ramp? Yeah, that must be a double ramp. Because I'm like, this looks like low ground. Yeah. Okay, so this is a double ramp like Citadel. Yeah, that looked weird. Yes, definitely. You can see it more clearly down here. So that is a double ramp. Okay, so this is actually the third base. So that makes more sense, right? So you can kind of turtle here and then turtle right here. This looks like it's buildable, but I can't say 100%. So yeah, there you go. So you have your 3 gases relatively easily. This is kind of an interesting terrain feature here. This 4-way ramp. Kind of StarCraft 2-esque. Haven't really seen map layouts that looked like that. This hole in the center just makes it more interesting for pushing around in any matchup. You make smaller chokes where you're having fights. Looks cool. So a 16 base map, 4-player map. Huh. That looks pretty cool, actually. I'm intrigued by this one. I could actually see this ending up being good for Terran. You know, obviously just kind of standard against Zerg, but I'm like looking at the layout for like Terran versus Protoss, for instance. Once you get that third base, you kind of macro up. As you take your 4th, the 5th is right there. It's kind of similar to Vermeer with how close some of these bases are to each other. Kind of gives me a little bit of a Vermeer feel, but with a tighter center, which can be good for Terran. Interesting map. And then we got Radon, which of course this has been on the ladder for a while. Radon is an okay map. It doesn't look like they made any changes to it. Just looks like standard Radon from the ladder. 4-player, you know. I don't have strong opinions on Radon. It's an okay map. So yeah, there's the map pool overall. So like, for instance, okay, just to go through real quick again. Monty Hall. Lots of 1-base Terran. Very tough map for Terran. Probably overall a better map for Zerg than for Protoss. Okay, so Zerg favored. Dominator, absolutely wretched for Protoss versus Protoss. It looks pretty interesting what they did with it, though. So I think other than Protoss versus Protoss, it could be fun. Minstrel, our 2-player map, looks fine. I like some of the setups well. I'm interested in that one. There's a lot of paths, though, so that's gonna kind of be interesting. I haven't seen that many different paths in a long time. Deja Vu. I have to glance again. Yeah, kind of like Retro, but a bit better. Kickback looks really, really interesting. This is the one that's kind of like a cross between Coliseum and Neo Forte. This one looks really interesting to me. This is gonna be a very different looking map in the matchup. So the fact that you get 3 gases so quickly, the geysers might actually be a little bit lighter. Pantheon. Yeah, Pantheon looks very, very cool. A little bit tight in the center. So that might end up being pretty good for TVP. All right, so there you go. Those are the maps for this season. Should be a good one. Of course, Tasteless and I will be casting them. They'll be going up on the Freaka TV YouTube channel. Generally, it takes, like, we get the VODs and then do it the next day and send it to them. So, yeah, within, like, a day and a half or so. It depends on how quick they upload, but our episode should be coming out within about a day and a half. So, definitely check that out. Going to be an excellent season.